Welcome to another episode of Women on the Rise. And today's guest, I am so excited about. We are talking to Ioanna Angelithaki, who is the co-founder of Instashop. And this woman is a legend in the UAE entrepreneurial scene. And you'll see for yourself after we do today's interview. Welcome to the show, Ioanna.
Hi, Jen. That was probably the best intro I ever had.
Oh, I'm so happy. And I got your name right. I saw you out of the corner of my eye and you were so surprised. It's what happens when you're married to a Greek, right? Well, I'm really happy. I know you were so busy with your role at Instashop, and thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me.
Thank you too for having me. I felt when you invited me to the podcast, I felt so great that I would be able to, just be a small part of what you're doing and helping female entrepreneurs. So yeah, I'm very happy.
Oh, thank you so much. I would love, for people who don't know you, now a lot of people know you in the UAE, but we have listeners and viewers all over the world. So tell them a little bit about who you are and what Instashop is. And then they're all going to want it in their countries as well.
When we do in meetings, you do quick introductions.
Yeah.
So usually what I say is, I'm Ioanna Angelithaki and I'm the founder of Instashop, and that pretty much sums up my life, which sounds cheesy, but it's true. Mm-hmm. So I'm Greek. I started my entrepreneurial journey in 2013 along with John Tsioris, who's my co-founder at Instashop and CEO. We started back then. It all started from a discussion actually about, what we're doing with our lives, what we want to achieve, are we happy? There was this fire burning that we want more. So we started brainstorming. We said, okay, we're going to have a startup. We had no idea what that would be. So it was a matter of calls every day, meetings, this, that. So then we decided to start with a voice social network, which looking back right now, it's like, what were we thinking? Because, what are you competing with? But it was a very interesting journey back then. We tried to bring Vound, as it was called in the world, for 2 years. We learned a lot. We traveled to San Francisco to get investment. I was, let's say, even more initiated in marketing. And in 2015, beginning, we realized that actually we've been trying 2 years. We've been spending all our personal funds, right? And family funds, so whoever could help us at the moment. And it was not working out.
Okay.
So we took the hard decision to pivot. I remember the call I had with John on how much we had spent, how much we had left. And you know what? I keep calling the supermarket and they keep messing up my orders, and it's so frustrating. John was in Dubai at the moment. I was working remotely from Greece. So what do you think? And I said, okay. It was very scary. It was scary.
Yeah.
You put 2 years of work, you put all your money, and then it takes another level of strength to say, okay, I'm letting this go. I need to move on to something new.
Yeah.
So this is how Instashop started in 2015. It was all about supermarket delivery. And now are we 8 years? Yeah. And it's changed so much. It has become a marketplace of everything. Pharmacies, pet shops, makeup, you name it.
And you started initially just in one tower though, right?
Yeah, for sure. We started, we had to, in a way, make the industry. It was a very fresh idea back then. The industry was so fresh also in terms of how you onboard partners, right? The potential of this industry was not familiar to people. It was something that, okay, it's probably this app is nice to have, but it's not going to bring me any value. So we struggled a lot on day one. So we started with one bacala, like small supermarket, and one tower, Princess Tower at the moment.
And so then just collected items from that supermarket and people would go onto the app and it would be delivered.
Yeah.
And that was back then, 8 years ago. That's how it would normally work, is you would have the phone number of the local supermarket or the local shop. You would give them a call and they would normally have a guy on a bike who would be at the shop and bring over the the food or the water, whatever it was that you wanted. And I don't even think that exists anymore. Like most supermarkets and shops won't even have that.
Yeah, today, yes. Also because the competition on online grocery delivery is so fierce. So you have a lot of players. So, I mean, there still is some phone orders. They still exist. But yeah, you cannot compare. Even specifically after COVID, it boomed. So you cannot compare, especially to buy in terms of grocery ordering today to 2015.
But before the pandemic, I remember online shopping was not really a thing. You know, supermarket delivery was not a thing. And the supermarkets that were doing it did it really badly. And so it was kind of like, what's the point? I'm going to order my groceries, but it's going to take 5 days for them to deliver it for me. So I might as well go to the shop. But then the pandemic happened and that changed everything.
Yeah.
And that changed Instashop quite a bit as well, because I remember Instashop before pandemic happened, and then it completely transformed your business as well.
Yeah, 100%. For sure, it had a positive impact on us. I know it's weird to say because we're talking about the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
But the numbers, I mean, today looking back speak for themselves. It was a very stressful period. Until 2020, up until 2020 and today, we always try to look forward, you know. We should be ready to scale. We should be ready to foresee how the industry is going to move. But that happened in one night. And even though we always try to, for example, have our tech ready and scalable, overnight, there was a surge of demand. And the supply in terms of partners was very limited, also because they couldn't deliver, like some had to shut down. So it was a huge challenge for us at the time. We had to manage technology overnight to be able to accommodate the orders. We had to manage our partners. We had to manage, you know, all the logistics. We had to manage customer service. It was pretty challenging, but for me, like at the time, although it was a very stressful, you know, couple of months that we had also the lockdown, you remember. It was interesting for a number of reasons. First of all, it's amazing to see that your team will support you because they don't have to at the end of the day. For example, the marketing team at that time, we were not doing any marketing. I mean, we couldn't handle the orders we were getting, right? Everyone was doing customer service.
Really?
So everyone just jumped in, emails, messages, phone calls, like 12 hours a day. I used to tell my team, you know, it's okay, you know, we're going to handle it. And everyone was hands-on to support the company.
That's amazing.
It is, yeah.
But it's so nice as well, especially with small businesses, because it is, even though you're a bigger business, you're still, at that time as well, you were still a smaller business or an SME, that everybody should be able to do things in the business. And, you know, even the founders as well, that, you know, we should be able to do emails. We should be able to take that customer service call if it means that you have to get in your car and go make a delivery.
For sure. And you learn through that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And true, I think it's also it's expected to happen in a small business, in a startup, that everyone is hands-on, you know. No? Today we are 8 years. We are like 1,000 people across country, the team, more or less. And still, every year, I mean, I have in my team people who were from day one. 4, 5, 7 years. And still until today, for example, Valentine's Day, right? We're expecting a surge of flower orders. And we're always like, the marketing team is always like, okay, which shop you want me to go to help? Everyone is still like so passionate and so invested. And this is my this is the best part.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's what's so nice about having your business and creating it, that you have that, and people have that ownership as well within the business, especially when you feel it.
True. It's the people at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're not just in the UAE. You initially started in Dubai, but now you're across the UAE, and you're in a number of other markets as well.
True.
How did that go, doing that international expansion?
In some cases easy, in some cases not so easy.
Yeah. Do you find are all the markets, are they open to the idea of Instashop, or is it a harder sell that sometimes they really like having the local guy with the bike that they call?
It's a learning curve and it's a different learning curve for each market that we enter, right? At the beginning, we were within Middle East, so Bahrain, Qatar, markets that have some similarities, so we could use and plug and play model, which made it a tiny bit easier, let's say. But always legalities, you need to consider local entities, and when it comes to marketing, it's things I learned as well, because at the beginning I might have thought, we're in Bahrain, it's okay, we'll have a local team in Dubai to manage all the communication and everything. And you learn through these mistakes that it's always best to be relevant and to localize.
Yeah.
And then we also expanded in Greece, which is a completely different market. So exactly like you said, it's a different mentality. You know, when it comes, Dubai is so fast forward to, in 2015, people were calling the supermarket. In Greece, until today, you have to educate them that, you don't need to go to the supermarket. You can order online. There are great differences. You learn as you go. This is also a reason why whenever we launch a new country, we always start hyper-local. We don't just enter Greece as an example, and you have full coverage, right? You start until today, we start with a neighborhood. We see, you start small, you see challenges that may arise, you see feedback from customers. So, we learn and we go. It's important to be flexible.
Absolutely. It's really funny. I said this to you before as well, that I think Instashop has become such an essential tool for so many people. It's so funny, like when I travel, or I've taken my son to university in the UK, and he's like, this really sucks that there's no Instashop.
It's a habit now.
It's a habit, right?
Yeah.
And it is something that, you and John were very clever in creating this, that it was such a need, that it really addressed the need, even in a market where I wouldn't have thought it would have worked before then, because people were so against online everything. It was like, I want cash on delivery, I want the guy to come. And I think it was really the pandemic that changed it, that people now, nobody carries cash. Where before the pandemic, it would be quite often that you would carry a wallet full of cash and you were handing out money everywhere. And now it's all digital. And it's been a really interesting transformation I've found for the UAE, but also the whole region, that everybody's really embraced the digital economy.
100%. I think to begin with, it was a very strategic decision of us to launch Instashop in Dubai. I don't know how it would have looked like if, for example, we started in Greece, being such a different market. So that definitely facilitated things for us. And also, you have to be 100% invested. Like, we wanted this app, even back day one, to be so good that I can order. Yeah. The kind of cat food I need has to be on the app. There should be cash on delivery, but there should also be I should have the ability to put my card and shop online. So we were judging from ourselves, and up until today, we encourage our team members to always shop on Instashop, and anything. Either it's a product recommendation that it's not online, or anything, feedback, something not working well, or it would be amazing if we had XYZ. So I think really digging into your product and always think like, am I happy with this as a consumer myself?
Yeah.
It really helps.
But that research is so important, right, for business. And I find oftentimes when I speak with entrepreneurs and if they're struggling in their business, oftentimes it goes back to research, that you haven't talked to your customers enough, that you haven't played with whatever it is that you're delivering, whether it's a product or service, to make sure that it's really adding value for your customers.
Sure. And always having an eye on the market.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that it's going to change your perspective on things, but
it's good to be constantly innovating, though, right?
Yeah,
you know, you
definitely.
need to know what's out there. It's interesting to know what the competition are doing, but I always say as well, you know, you're 2, 3, 4 steps ahead, so keep focusing on that.
Definitely, yes.
And you and John started Instashop together. What's your view? Because I hear differing things from investors, VCs, that sometimes they'll say that they really like to look towards companies to invest in that have a couple of partners, that have co-founders rather than just one founder. How is your experience? You and John have done a couple of businesses together. Do you think it's better to have co-founders or several founders rather than just an individual?
I can't answer for sure from the investor side, but I'll tell you that it would be pretty lonely if there was only one founder, only because it's always amazing to share your vision. It's amazing to have someone by your side at the great moments and at the challenging moments as well. And I think what worked specifically for myself and John is that, in fact, we're very different. We're so different from each other, and we complement each other. I handle everything about marketing, whatever that means for me as a personality, right?
Yeah.
And John is the CEO, who is all about, you know, he's a great businessman. He handles negotiations perfectly. So we fully complement each other. So I would say that, because usually when you're at the beginning and you're thinking, okay, it would be great to have a co-founder along the way. Maybe my XYZ best friend, right? Which is, it's normal. It's normal. Because I go along best with that person. It's great, but for business, it's amazing to have 2 different minds thinking at the same time.
Yeah. If you're too similar, it's,
Exactly.
Yeah, you need to have those varying views.
So you need to think from a business sense how to choose your partner.
And your focus has been marketing, but your background, you studied as an engineer, didn't you?
True, yes.
So how did you get into marketing?
I studied engineering because I did not know what to do with my life. So that looked like, interesting. It had a lot of things, anything from math to finances to hydraulics to everything, management. So I saw it like, okay, I'm going to start. I should end up liking something of all these subjects, right? I finished. I was not quite sure yet. So then I went into marketing management. It was interesting couple of years. But I still, it's that thing that we were discussing about, 2015, we were talking with John and we were still not, there. Like, okay, you've studied like for 7 years, but what is it that I want that makes me happy and that gives me this fire? So during my master's degree, because I was burning inside, I worked as a receptionist at the careers office of my university. And part-time in the evenings, I started Googling mainly and learning by myself about marketing and starting, freelancing at the beginning, of course, for free, and then small businesses, then medium businesses abroad. And it started getting very exciting for me. I loved the learning part. I loved that I could learn something and then go and try it. So it happened on the side. University is amazing. I learned many things, but those after hours, that you're just digging in internet and you learn by yourself, Facebook advertising, for example, it was pretty exciting.
I love, and the thing about marketing as well, is especially if you have the character where you want to constantly learn, because it evolves so much.
All the time.
Marketing 6 months ago is not what marketing is today, especially with all of the tech. And what a fascinating area to have gone into as well. And I love too how you were, you were working as a receptionist, you were doing all of the freelancing. And I think that that's such a great message as well, to show people that anything is possible, right? Like, anything is possible if you have the drive and the desire to do it.
True, that's true. I tend to forget about it.
Yeah.
Like, I focus on today.
Yeah.
And I know that we've come a long way. But even back then, I was so happy doing both jobs and learning. And today it's a different kind of happy.
Yeah.
But still.
A grown-up happy.
Yes. But yeah, it takes time. For sure, it takes time and long hours and, choosing to do this versus that, not go out and stay home.
There's no easy
in
setting up your business. And I find it interesting that sometimes people think that setting up a business is easy, that making money is easy. And they look at entrepreneurs like you or other successful business owners or me, and they're like, well, I can do that. That looks easy. And what they don't see is that, all of those hours, that you didn't go out with friends, and that you were doing all of these online courses or doing extra courses, working for free to go and get that experience that you use today in your business. So it does become easier.
Definitely. I think entrepreneurship is glamorized in a way. I mean, it is amazing. You push yourself to limits. You have very low points, very high ones.
Often in the same day, within a couple of hours. Yeah.
Definitely. But it's made to look like so pretty and so, so exciting. And like you said, no one talks about the fact that you need to be, if you want something to work, you need to be 100%, yourself.
Yeah.
It's like you have a baby, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's inevitable. There's a lot of stress, there's long hours, there are challenges. Of course, it's not always easy with people, with your co-founder, right? But through all these things, you can only manage to go to the next step.
Yeah.
But yeah, it takes time and like real effort.
What do you like the best about having your own business, being an entrepreneur?
Oh, that's a good question. What do I like the best? I think the fact that I managed to feed this thing that I had. I didn't know what it was, and I wanted to do things, but I didn't know what. I didn't know what to study. I didn't know what I like. And then Instashop came, and I made this the way that I am happy through it.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I had the flexibility. Maybe I didn't like marketing at the end of the day, right? I could always go to operations. I could always go to product assortment. And this is amazing. And I've learned so many things. There's this excitement in creating that I don't know if you can get from something else. So...
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that as well, that, you get to decide what it looks like, right? You get to decide how far you're going to push the limits of creativity and what that looks like. Sometimes we get it spectacularly wrong. Sometimes it goes incredibly right. but you have, I don't know, I agree with you that you have that flexibility. The other thing that I really love, and I don't know if you find this, but I like the fact too that I can do what I want whenever I want. Like I was always one that I didn't like rules, and I didn't like being told what to do. And of course, I probably work more than I would if I was working for someone else. But it's also things like, hey, you know what? If I want to go work from here for a month, I can do that. If you want to go to Greece and spend the summer in Greece, you can still run your business. And if you had what I call a day job, I don't know if you would necessarily be able to do that. And that, I love that freedom in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah, no, I mean, it's not even remotely comparable to a day job in that sense. But yeah.
And what do you find it's like being in the tech industry, because you are a tech business, and it is quite male dominated. There's not as many women in that industry, and I think sometimes women can feel intimidated to go into that sector because they feel that maybe it wouldn't be for them, or they should be doing other things. How have you found that? And have you found that there's been a bit of a bro culture around there, or it's been okay?
For me, I haven't felt that. I haven't felt the I'm a woman in a male-dominated industry. I'm surrounded by very kind men at work. I work closely with the developers team, so I never had this feeling. But I understand the question. I think what I can relate to is that I might get, after entering this industry, this voice inside my head, this that says, you're not good enough. You don't know the subject. Don't go there. That got louder, for sure. But that's how do you call it? Imposter syndrome, right? I think for women, this is the thing that we should tackle the most.
I think, everybody gets imposter syndrome on some level. And I find it interesting when I meet people, even like really, really high level people sometimes, and you find out that they have imposter syndrome. Like I remember one time a while ago, I met somebody who was a newly appointed chairman of a bank. And he said to me, he's like, I'm really worried that like people are going to see me as a fraud, and I don't feel that I should be here. And I thought that's really interesting that somebody who's like been working towards that for decades gets there and then is like, am I good enough? And I thought, we all get it. We all get it. A lot of times we're scared to go and say that we have it, because even as well, like I get it, even with Female Fusion, that I feel like, okay, well, I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. I know what I'm doing, but then I think, am I good enough? Do I have enough experience? Do I have enough knowledge? Should, my business be bigger? Should I, like all of those things go in your head, and then you're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, but I think we all, whether you're, the chairman of a bank or you're just starting out.
Yeah, I think this is the most important thing to overcome at any stage, maybe a bit more importantly at the beginning, because it might tend to be a blocker. Like, I really want to do this and that, but I'm not ready. I should wait. First, I should finish this and this and this, and then I'm going to start. Okay, and I don't have enough money. I don't have a designer. I don't have... It
just do it.
Matter.
Yeah. And I, so often, and I think especially even as well with women, we get in our own way.
Oh, yeah.
So often, like we're getting in our own way, and you think, and even I've done it as well, and I've thought, where would I be if I would have done it 6 months ago when I had that idea, or I should have done that? And it's just sometimes having the courage to go, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, I've had a very expensive training course.
That's true. People are scared to fail also because, you look around you go on social media, everyone is somehow rich and beautiful and successful. So I understand that there is this barrier that I should look this way. What if it doesn't happen? So it's, I think, also social media feed this imposter syndrome. But failure is part of the way. If you don't fail, you're not going to learn. Every day, like you said, 20 times a day, you go up and down and up and down.
Yeah.
So
entrepreneur life. So if you're not ready for it,
it's a roller coaster.
It is. And I think one of the things that I've found as I've done it more and more is that it's so important to surround myself with the right people, because you have to have the friends who are entrepreneurs in a way that get it, even if they work in a completely different sector. To be able to have that friend when you have that down, sometimes when you feel like it's so bad, and I think we all get it, to be able to have that friend that you can talk to, or a group of friends that will be like, look, I've gone through this. This is how I did it. Or have you tried that? And all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, I'm not such a bad failure after all.
True. And this is also the importance of not being alone.
Yeah.
Either as a founder or at least having the right team surround you.
Yeah.
Because there will be a lot of downs, right? So you need to sit with these 2, 3, 5 people and navigate.
Do you find one of the things that I'm noticing a lot more in my years of having Female Fusion is that I notice a lot of women, I think more than men, are scared to ask for help because we're scared to admit maybe that something went wrong, or that we haven't been as good as what it appears on social media.
Yeah, I think it goes back to everything looking so perfect.
Yeah.
And also for a woman to look vulnerable, I think we feel that this gives us less value. We should be strong. We should look a certain way. We should be boss ladies. You should always wear a suit. You should, it doesn't matter. You should do the work, and that's all. Let it speak for itself.
Yeah, and you do get judged by
people.
Yeah. And I used to care a lot in the beginning, and I feel like I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't care anymore.
Because you're busy, right?
I'm too busy. I'm too busy to care. Yeah. It's like, I'm lucky that I put on makeup today and did my hair, right?
Same.
Right. Because there is like, you're just so busy doing stuff. And I wish sometimes too that women would see that and be like, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to say that you don't know something. And that's maybe where being surrounded by other people, like if you have a co-founder or if you have
Female Fusion.
Yeah,
but it's true, right? I mean, and you see it more than me because you meet all these women every day.
Yeah.
And all of these women reach out to Female Fusion for that reason.
Yeah. And it is, and you're right.
Yeah.
And I do feel really grateful to be in that position because I didn't have that when I set up my business. And I always think like if I had something like Female Fusion, wow, my business like would have gone so much further, so much quicker. So that's pretty cool. Now I want to talk August 2020. That was a big month for you, right? So actually, I'm going to let you say what happened in August 2020.
That was a stressful August. It's a funny story. When we were never looking into selling the business, we kind of crossed path with Delivery Hero. They were very active in the region, so it was like an accidental, let's say, meeting of the two companies, and I think we got more excited with what they're doing. We saw their passion, we saw their values, we saw all these companies that are under their umbrella, their passion for the delivery industry, food and groceries and marketplaces. So we really got excited. We're discussing with John about the overlap between Instashop and Delivery Hero. And then the discussion went towards the acquisition, and it just felt right.
Yeah.
We said, if we ever going to sell, this makes perfect sense. And also, part of the discussion was that we would continue to have and to be 100% independent. So it's like we're selling, but we're not selling because we're not ready. We weren't ready in 2020 to give up Instashop. So the deal was perfect for us. And it's important for that overlap. If we were talking about a very different company that, let's say, approached us for a similar case, it's always important to meet the person and be like, okay, I like Jen. I like her values. It makes sense. She loves this industry. She can actually support me to grow whatever I'm doing even more. So this is the click that happened with Delivery Hero.
Well, and it's like a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to be working so closely with them that if they don't have the same values, it's going to be quite hard.
For sure.
So this happened in August 2020. They acquired you for $360 million, which is amazing.
Yeah, who knew?
Right? Like, did you when you saw that number, were you like, what?
I mean, I'm still the same person that I was 10 years ago, you know. This is not, I came from, my family is amazing, but I don't come, let's say, from a rich background. So everything that's happening throughout these 10 years, I always tell myself, oh, 1 second, look at this. Look at this number. Look at what you've done. And when you get, it's a reality check that we've come so far that actually this deal happened. So it's pretty exciting. It's bittersweet. It's like you're giving away something you created, but it's also like, look at what I've done.
Right.
And we tend to kind of forget about that part, you know, to just stop for a minute and say and look around and be like, okay, I'm here today.
Yeah, but we don't celebrate, right? Like
No.
we have great things, like whether it's something small or something bigger. I think that as entrepreneurs, we really don't take that time to celebrate. And the fact that you two grew Instashop to what it was, so at that time, it would have been five years old, right?
Yeah.
So, because it's 8 now.
Yeah.
Amazing in 5 years to have done that, built that, scaled that.
True. You don't realize it when you're inside and
You're
you
in
keep
it.
working every day and you keep struggling more and more and what can I do next or this happened today. You tend to forget, you do need to take like just a small break and realize where you're at. But it was amazing. I think it made sense as a next step. And 3 years have passed. I've learned a lot of things. We got access to resources. I got to meet people from Delivery Hero that were pretty interesting and discuss about marketing and this and that. So, it opened a new window.
Yeah.
You know?
And so I guess as well that with that, it enabled you to go into a lot of different areas and grow Instashop in a way. Because I remember Instashop, well, even from before the pandemic to what it is now, is a completely different product. So that also as well has been great for consumers, that they have access to so much more.
For sure, you need to keep evolving.
Yeah.
And e-commerce keeps evolving. So we had to, and we always wanted to, actually, but right time and the right place for that. So the vision was to become a super app where whatever you need, is it your specific cat food or is it shopping from that specific supermarket? Because I like the brand when it comes to getting fruits, for example. We wanted to make it so consumer friendly. We've learned this along the way. Also, there were some amazing learnings that I didn't expect. So you need to listen and go to that direction.
Yeah. And when the deal was done, how did you feel at that moment? What were the feelings like?
I think it was a nice relief. It gave me some sort of safety net. I mean, let's be honest. It's when you're an entrepreneur, you always think, also,
am I going to lose my house?
Yes, and will I have money next month? I mean, we were healthy as a company. Instashop is a healthy company, but you always think you have. At the time, I think, did we have maybe around 500 team members? You have responsibility, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, to me, it was a relief that, okay, we have this giant backing us up. It was this feeling. The fact that we maintained independence, it did not make me, feel like I'm giving something away or that someone else is going to come and tell me, you have to do this and not that. So,
because they bought you for you and John and what you had created, right? It would be silly if they would buy it and then turn it into something else. It's really interesting to hear that. And when you said that, I was thinking, that's exactly the same way I would feel that if I would ever take investment in my business, is that I think probably the heaviest thing for me is always feeling the responsibilities for everything. And, I sometimes say to friends that, like, being an adult and a grown-up is hard. Sometimes it's like, could I just, like, have somebody take care of all of that so you can focus on other stuff? And when you don't have that burden, that feels pretty good. So I can imagine how awesome that felt.
Yes.
So what advice would you give to other business owners? So now you've done this for 8 years, been an entrepreneur for a lot longer, had the one business that didn't work, had Instashop. Because one of the things I hear from business owners is they're like, what advice would you give to me so I could, like, create my business and eventually sell it? Like, what would be your piece of wisdom that people should be thinking about?
And eventually sell it.
And eventually sell it.
Yeah, I know that's the goal for many cases, for sure. When you start a company, like, you have the vision of at some point it's going to grow this much and I'm going to...
But we all have to exit at some point, right?
Yeah.
I had somebody say to me once, she was like, well, I'm never going to sell my business. And I was like, well, you're going to have to let go of your business at some time. We all have to have some kind of exit plan for our business, right?
True. I understand that's another kind of vision, that you want to make something so big, maybe global, and you continue to be the head of that. So I respect that.
Yeah.
What would be my advice? We made that happen in 5 years, which it doesn't, I mean, it sounds short, it is short, fine, but it felt like 5 dog years. It felt like a small, century for me. The most important thing, I would say, okay, first of all, start. Like, please stop thinking about it and take the first step, and just keep your eyes and your ears open along the way and be ready to change, to quit, to restart. So I think that would be the first thing. And then it's all about just keep going. Expect that there will be challenges. Expect you're going to make mistakes. And the importance of a community, I think that gives comfort to this process, for sure. We mostly did it alone, but yes, if I look back, like you said, if I had the community back then, if I had Female Fusion, it would have been different, even on a personal level, right? The fact that you sit, like you said, with 5 friends, which is what it basically is, you find comfort. So I think first starting off, then perseverance, and you have to keep pushing. There are no breaks.
No breaks.
I mean, okay, in a healthy level, yeah.
Ioanna, thank you so much for sitting down with me and sharing your story. I'm so grateful for your time today.
It was fun. Thank you so much, Jen.
You're welcome.